This is Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf, one of the youngest members of the Samoan dynasty. You now watching and listening to Wrestling with Regret.
Hello?
Hey Zane.
Oh, hi. What's up?
This movie?
You dick.
You love me, Zane. H out. Boop. Japan. Japan! That's the country of origin for this week's review topic, The Calamari Wrestler, an independent comedy film that came out in 2004. Produced with seemingly no input from any major promotion in that country, this film tells the tale of a walking, talking, wrestling squid who just wants to be loved and accepted by society, and figures the squared circle is the only place to make that happen. Based on the making of featurette that's on the DVD, I get the feeling that writer-director Minoru Kawasaki began working on a porno but then got sidetracked, and this is the end result. And with that, it's time to begin this review. God help me. As the movie begins, we join a match in progress between a pair of action figures. Yes, that's what they actually used to simulate this far-off shot of the wrestlers in a packed arena. Off to a great start. We see a match pitting Koji Taguchi against Crush Volcano, a grappler who's never mentioned by name or even seen again in this movie, yet the marketing team felt it necessary to christen him on the back of the DVD cover. Anyway, Koji is the ace of Super Japan Pro Wrestling, governed by the IMGP. Haha, I see what they did there. Taguchi wins with his patented finishing hold and the crowd goes wild. Within 30 seconds we meet nearly every other character in the film. The league commissioner, Taguchi's fiancée Miyako, the federation president and his right-hand man, some reporters, and a man of mystery. It's an awful lot of information to take in. Wow, what a strong headline. Is this your first day at the paper? Taguchi is finally crowned the champion when out of nowhere, well... Well, he's right. The mystery squid takes down all of Taguchi's seconds and challenges the champ to an impromptu scrap. Taguchi looks strong at first, but submissions don't faze invertebrates. Our challenger squids up and wins the unofficial match with a familiar move. The confrontation in the ring has the entire country buzzing. Over at SJPW headquarters, the president and his colleague decide Taguchi and the Calamari Wrestler need to have an official one-on-one match to capitalize on the mania. Meanwhile, the reporters from earlier track down the title character who lives in a Buddhist temple. The Northern Lights suplex from earlier reminded both Miyako and one of the reporters of Kanichi Iwata, the former ace of SJPW and Taguchi's mentor, who fell off the face of the earth after retiring due to a terminal illness 3 years prior. It turns out they're totally correct in making that connection. It's very obvious, but rather than just confirming it outright, the movie just decides to dance around the topic for the first third of the story. Wake up, man, this movie's not getting any weirder on its own. And he's doing a great job at that too. The league president meets with Squiddles, saying he'll sign the match on the condition that the slimy one be put to lose. But our hero has far too much honor to lay down for anybody. Then I guess it's time for a 15-second fake history lesson.
戦後始まったプロレス中継。合同山の空手パンチに日本中が熱狂した。キャバレーでチンピラに刺されて死んだんだよな。
Because the film takes place in a universe where the company names are slightly off, they also bring up their own version of the father of Japanese wrestling, the late Godozan, an obvious play on the name and backstory of Rikidozan, the man responsible for bringing pro wrestling to Japan after World War II. Look, the history of wrestling is already confusing enough to me. I don't need a fictionalized timeline to make things worse. Between this, Super Japan Pro Wrestling, and the IMGP, looks like the guy who wrote this movie went to the Jimmy Hart School of Trademark Avoidance. Hey baby, you just gotta change enough notes and words in the original and you're golden. No lawyer can touch you. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, the president wants Squid Billy to do the job because he wants to frame the match as good versus evil. Taguchi, the pride of Japan, and the Calamari Wrestler, the foreign menace.
君ほど現在日本が抱えている混沌とした状況を体現しているレスラーは他にいない。
Well, I'd say nothing is more chaotic than a wrestling squid, but apparently the people in this world are pretty chill about the whole idea. Also, if everyone and their mother is able to deduce that the squid's actually a reincarnated Kanichi, how come no one's asking where he's been and why he's suddenly a fucking squid? At this point, the twist better be that it's not actually him. The squid is banned from competition for refusing to follow the script, bro, yet Taguchi is obsessed with fighting him in a sanctioned match to restore his honor. Further complicating things is their shared past, as Taguchi used to live in the shadow of Kanichi, his much more successful mentor. And not only that, it just so happens that Miyako used to be Kanichi's lover. I'm just a bevy of wildly contrasting emotions when I'm drunk. Acting! We then take a dive 20,000 leagues under the... Okay, just kidding, it's on the surface, as we get more of an idea of how this all came to be. The CW wakes up in his surprisingly normal bed every day and is apparently a servant for a mysterious man named Senzan, whose story and motives we know nothing about. All we do know is he's somehow responsible for converting Kanichi into his current tentacled self, and that it came with a caveat. You know, it's nice to see that a character who has apparently been in hiding for the last 3 years and who captured the imagination of an entire country upon his return to civilization casually goes shopping for sardines like the rest of us common folk. What a guy! Meanwhile, Miyako's conflicted about her feelings toward the squid and tries to talk it out with her sister. And like everyone else in this movie, she's somehow taking all this in a pretty healthy manner. Oh, so financial support is the only hurdle for you in this case? At the Federation offices, we see some fancy high-tech Japanese urinals, along with Senzan having a chat with the commissioner, his fake mustache flopping about joyously. I'll bet the payoff to that's gonna be... great. One evening, Squid and Miyako have a heart-to-heart about Kanichi's disappearance 3 years ago. They make amends and we cut to a playful scene between the two. The only thing missing here is another 3 minutes of playground footage. Back in the league offices, the commissioner tries to convince the president to listen to the growing fan support for Calamari and to lift the ban because of something honor. This music sure is something. With the ban lifted and the match officially on, Taguchi begins to train like a madman in preparation for the battle of his life. The Calamari Wrestler's mysterious promoter/master suddenly shows up and offers to train Taguchi in the Hunzu province of Pakistan, where he previously trained the squid. That edit is probably the best joke in the movie so far. We get some sound bites from people who are both for and against the man vs. squid matchup, including a message of support from Taka frickin' Yama himself. Back at Miyako's apartment, we get some serious flirtation between her and our wiggly friend. Well, now I know what a squid's bedroom eyes look like, and I sure wish I didn't.
Oh, ecchi.
I sure hope that's his tentacle.
Oh, yada, mo.
They really did a hard cut to an interspecies sex scene. I mean, I know they didn't show anything, but it should still come with a warning. Because he did the one thing Senzan told him not to do, the squid spell is worn off on Kanichi, and now he's suddenly human again and his plot-driving illness returns. Miyako takes him to the temple where the monks try and heal him once again by ringing a giant bell above his head 365 times. Well, it's better than the alternative, having to watch 36 and a half Baron Corbin matches.
煩悩を持つ陸の者として果てるか岩田寛一、それとも365の行に耐え海の生き物に昇華するか。
Why's he gotta be turned into a sea creature for the ritual to work? Why not something a little more badass like a hawk or a puma? We can tell the ritual is working thanks to a snap zoom. Then it's time for the night of the big match. After some amazing use of stock footage to show the large crowd, it's finally time for the showdown between the Calamari Wrestler and... Must be something about that Pakistani air. Oh, come on. You got two guys in kaiju suits flopping around in the ring, and the commentary dares to invoke the name of Antonio Inoki? If he heard that, he'd show up and give the honor slap to everyone involved in this picture. Besides, if you're gonna change the names for New Japan, IWGP, and Ricky Dozan, shouldn't you just slightly tweak Inoki's name too? Something like, I don't know, G-Noki? I'll take your word for it. Compared to how tame that last sex scene was, it sure looks as if the octopus is violently fucking calamari right here, but Miyako inspires the squid to make a rip-roaring comeback. I hope that's not how the Night of Passion ended earlier. Last time I bring that up, I swear. The Calamari Wrestler wins the match with a giant splash to Octaguchi and has won the hearts and minds of fans all over the country. And if you can believe it, with about a half hour to go in this movie, shit's about to get even weirder. We see Kanichi and Miyako strolling through town when suddenly a new challenger approaches. And if you thought the Calamari's voice was annoying, get a load of this asshole. We meet the appropriately named Squilla Boxer, who just beats the hell out of a squid shopping with his human girlfriend in broad daylight and no one bats an eye. We have no idea where he came from, why he's attacking Kanichi, or what holistic ritual he underwent, and at this point that's just how it is and you better learn to like it. A grudge match is then set between Squid and Squilla. The reporters from earlier sneak a peek at the boxer's training methods, then one of them approaches a drunk, despondent Taguchi, who's turned back into a human with zero explanation, by the way. The reporter tells Taguchi that the Squilla is so dangerous that Kanichi could die in the ring, and convinces him to help train his former friend up so he can hopefully defeat him in a rematch. Taguchi makes amends with Kanichi, which leads to a squid training montage. You know, makes the whole movie worth it, really. Is it me or did the guy in the squid suit get some pointers on arm movements from the people in GTA San Andreas? There's a lot I want to say about that moment, but in the end all I'm going to say is, get yourself a partner who looks at you the way Miyako looks at that squid costume. It's finally time for the seafood buffet brawl as the ringside reporters look to get some final words from the combatants.
What's that? Is that fake? Huh? What the hell's wrong with you? That's open hand slap.
Also, did you notice that Squilla's punches are so fast you can't see them, but you can hear them? The match begins with a sneak attack by Kanichi, but it backfires and Squilla's on the attack. The squid's beaten up so bad he has a brief chat with his inner child, then his fear of the Squilla makes him revert to human form. No, really, that's how they explained it. Boy, Japanese people just love laughing like maniacs when they get beat up. Hey man, it's cool. We all started out as fans, but is now really a good time? So Kanichi is completely cured of his mystery disease thanks to getting the shit knocked out of him and is suddenly in top form. The stock shots to the crowd return as Kanichi starts whooping some crustacean ass. But ultimately his wrestling ability is no match for Squilla's fists and our hero goes down in a heap. Before the referee can call the match, a whole 12 people begin chanting his name. They took 20 takes, and that was the best one. Iwata then proceeds to rip the squilla's arms clean off, which seems like a big ramping up in the violence department. They missed out on a huge opportunity by not having the arms land in a giant vat of butter or something. Kanichi lands the final blow and Squilla goes down, but suddenly the fallen opponent begins to cook itself from the inside? What? The reporters crack open a conveniently placed wrestling almanac sitting right in front of them and realize that Godozan's real last name is Senzan, the same name of the mysterious man from earlier in the film. So this guy wasn't even trying to hide it then? Boy, is everyone here dumb or what? Sure, that's a satisfying, completely organic twist. Okay, that was that. And how is the audience responding to this news? Yeah. Golf clap seems real appropriate here. Yes, nepotism sure is the bee's knees, isn't it? So after all that, please tell me, how can this madness possibly end? Okay, I'm going to preface what I'm about to say here by acknowledging I know very little about Japanese culture. I do understand that their brand of humor and filmmaking is very different from that of the West, so I'm fully aware it'd be unfair of me to imprint my standards on something produced there. That being said, what the hell, Japan? The Calamari Wrestler is a very strange movie. From the concept to the execution, there's certainly no shortage of funny and bizarre moments. Just the idea the squid wrestler is able to go about a normal life and most people don't even notice is hilarious by itself. The big suits are great and the wrestling is goofy by design. If you want to see more stuff like it, I highly recommend you watch some Kaiju Big Battle because their stuff is very par for the course. But even if it's a wacky Japanese comedy, that does not excuse the storytelling in this movie because it falls apart right quick. There are not enough drugs on Earth that could prepare you for the third act of this picture. The reveal that Godozan isn't actually dead and he's the father of both Taguchi and Kanichi is completely out of nowhere and unearned. I mean, he lived with them, he trained them, he turned them into cephalopods, he made them wash his back, he pitted them against each other, then beat the hell out of one of them himself. Why? Why do any of that? Why did he fake his death, then go into hiding for decades? None of this is explained. What about the commissioner's involvement in all this? We can tell in the urinal scene from before that he knows about Godozan's secret identity before talking to the league president into lifting the ban on the calamari. So it's inferred that he was actually doing his old friend Senzan a favor by allowing the match with Taguchi to take place. All that does is further undermine Taguchi, who has already harbored a grudge toward Iwata all these years, just to lose to him and lose his woman? And all that just for one family's preservation of power over Japanese wrestling? Talk about a mindfuck! But if you can work your mind around that Lannistarian level of nepotism and treachery, not to mention the cheesy special effects and the terrible use of background music throughout, then I guess nothing's impossible. If you want a wild and ridiculous movie about wrestling, The Calamari Wrestler should definitely suit your needs. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, comment below, subscribe to Wrestling with Regret, and buy the t-shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com. I'm Brian Zane, and I'm never looking at seafood the same way again.